Hello, welcome to the More Cheese Less Whiskers podcast. My name is Dean Jackson. Here we are in our world headquarters studio in Winter Haven, Florida. And our guest today is Larry Stelley, all the way from El Paso, Texas. And he's doing some cool things out in El Paso in the nonprofit world, helping spread youth entrepreneurship. So I'm excited to dig in a little bit here and hear what you're up to. Larry, welcome.
Well, thank you, Dean. Yeah, I appreciate it. Well, you guys called. I applied months back, and it's
a tough ticket,
perfect
Larry,
timing
to get on.
It's perfect timing.
Yes,
the right place at the right time. We started the Youth Biz Academy, 501. It's been a little over a year, and basically I used to be in the trade show business. My wife and I had a trade show production company. We had an industrial trade show that grew from 25 booths to 500 that lasted a little over 20 years. Then we had another little family business with my son, that the LA Boxing UFC gym. So with COVID, I wasn't able to stay in the gym for those situations. So all that time I was with Abe and Pagan as far as coaching. And then I was with Jamie Smart with one of his coaching programs.
Okay.
So I was looking. It's a self-discovery
you're in good hands
project
with both
for
of those,
myself. I just turned 75, and after reading Chip Conley's book, Wisdom at Work, there's still a lot of value that I started to believe that I had with my experience and knowledge and so forth. So during COVID, through Jamie's program, he had one section there that just highlighted more cheese, less whiskers.
Right.
And we went through that, and after that is when I applied. So basically, I like that word, social entrepreneurship. So this is what I'm doing right now. And basically, I wanted to see how everything that you provide with your profit activator scorecard and everything else. And I followed Joe Polish and Benjamin Hardy and Dan Sullivan.
Okay, you're all the greats.
So many.
There we go.
Yeah, there are a few things. I try to take advantage of all the free content and then enroll in some programs and do the best with what I've got. So youth entrepreneurship, I just saw that since I was in the trade show business, what we're doing is it's Anton Children's Business Fairs. And they're all over the country and and all over the USA and in other countries. Basically, it gives an opportunity for kids 6 to 14 to create a product, sell it in a safe place, and hopefully make a profit.
That's great.
So again, with my trade show experience, I figured, well, this is one way at least to build a foundation with something that I've enjoyed doing and I can enjoy, because that in-person experience, and especially having a small canopy and a table, they have their display and they sell their product, whatever it may be. And again, it's homemade, it's handmade. And so they've gone through the entire process. So they went through the process because we had the event, although it was 107 degrees on June 8th last year. We thought it was going to be about 97.
Oh, my goodness.
But anyway, I said rain or shine, and it definitely did shine. But anyway, people came, and again, they invite their friends and family to attend. So again, it's part of the safe environment. So we have our next event May 6th, and I just wanted to basically kind of tie in what you provide, and how I'm tying it into our foundation and what we're doing to build up, because we want to have these events where they can sell their products safely, but we also want to have in-person and online training. So basically with the 6 to 14-year-old, the target market are their parents, the millennial parents, the millennial families that have the 6 to 14-year-olds. Yes. So I think I got it right. That's what we're looking at. So through working with the school districts and however else we can, we get the word out. We had 10 booths the first year, last year, and then the goal is to have 25. So it can be from anywhere around the city or in the region if they want to participate.
Yeah.
But again, it gives them the opportunity to go through all that. So the parents are the market, and for those parents that if they've seen that spark or interest of their kids to be a kidpreneur, a youth entrepreneur, this is an opportunity for them. So some of the things, that's the market. Millennial parents get that word out, and then the 6 to 14-year-olds that can participate. So some of the things that we've done is that in order to create more value, 3 months ago, I started sending free content, information, because like you said, on your profit activators, those are like mindsets. I believe you used that expression. So Venture Lab, that is a company that sells a lot of products and services for youth entrepreneurship. They have a lot of information that I've purchased or used, and then exposed the kids to the mindset, entrepreneurship, so the skills, curiosity, courage, creativity, just a great foundation. So it not only exposes the kids to that, but of course I have the adult contact, so the parents are getting the information. So what we're doing is highlighting the mindsets and the skills, and then information like this month we have a list of the partial list of exhibitors, vendors who already signed up. And then, so like this last month we had 2 from our mailing list. Our mailing list is growing. So basically with some of the things that I've learned from you and others, it's providing that free contact. Some, they applied and then they decided not to go. So what I'm doing is just nurturing that relationship. So we're about 3.5 months out.
So what's the main product? If we say the during unit of your business, we always start with, what's the dream come true outcome that you're producing for people? If we start with that.
Well, the dream come true is that they have that experience. The kids have that experience. The parents have that experience. Because the whole idea is that these kids might not have a business someday, but with what they're learning and understanding about how the process works, they'll hopefully become even a great employee, understanding that. So the goal is to have the kids and the parents go through that entire experience, because creating the product, being able to sell it in a safe place, and then having a profit afterwards. So that is the goal of that particular event. So again, building the relationships and them wanting to continue with their education.
Can you give me an example of a case study, or an example of someone who went through the process, like how it looks? So I'm a millennial parent, and I'm thinking, okay, we've got a 6 to 14-year-old, we've got a teenager, and they're showing some spark we'd like, or is it always driven by the kids, or is it more the desire of the parents to get them involved in entrepreneurship over video games?
It can go either way. Yeah. We had one mom that her daughter was making beaded jewelry and was on the internet and looking for opportunities, and came across Children's Business Fair, and then put in El Paso, and then talked with the mom, and mom signed her up. Or it could be the parents. Yeah. I have one dad that signed up his 2 kids at our homeschool. Yeah. And I believe he's a physical therapist. I came across, but their particular product are hot packs. Okay. So I believe that there's some influence with dad is in a certain business, and he sees perhaps if he introduced that to them, or hey dad, I've got this idea. So it can come from any direction. The main concern is getting the word out, and that opportunity is there. Because again, these are 6 to 14-year-olds. So what I also hope to do is that also have them connect with junior achievement as they get older in high school. Junior achievement has those programs, and they go into high schools and they do different projects, financial literacy. So basically, this might be the little league team that we're producing here, and the young ones, exposing them to entrepreneurship, because it's basically learning and growing and an upliftment that there are other opportunities. I mean, without platitudes or anything, let's say if they're talking about creativity, no idea is bad, and just got to learn the basics. Got to learn the basics and how they apply. And now it's just not classroom theory about how to run a business or what a business is. Now the wonderful part, the people that started the Anton Children's Business started in Austin about 2011. They had 9 tables. Now they're up, I believe, to close to over 150 booths that they have with their annual event.
Yeah.
So again, it's just different opportunities. And for me, working with Mind Valley and some of the work that Chip Conley does, it's again, what can be do. It's also, like a thank you as far as I'm concerned, because our community has been so supportive of our efforts over the years that this is one way to go back. I wasn't interested in business or, fortunately I didn't. I played sports. So I was able to go to college on a baseball scholarship.
Nice.
Again, that's great.
Yeah.
I wasn't exposed to business till later on, but now I see how, wow, well, all we had was paper routes, basically. Yeah. A few other things as far as kids and 50s
now.
and
Yeah,
60s.
So I did that, like my entrepreneurial path. I started out with a paper route. And then one of the things that was a blessing, I think the biggest thing for me was our newspaper had a coupon book that we could sell, door to door and make money that way. And it was a really good, experience I would tell the story, I've only ever had one job. I had a job at the bowling alley when I was 14. Uh-huh. The day we turned to 14, went and signed, filled out an application to get a job at the bowling alley and got the job, my friend Neil and I together on the same day. And, went to work that Saturday and worked all day. And the hourly minimum wage was, $2.50 an hour. Then. And so we went, worked at the bowling alley all day. I did that for 2 weeks. I worked on the Saturday and then 2 evenings during the week. So I probably worked, a total of 16 hours a week kind of thing on the thing. And, I remember getting my paycheck and all the taxes deducted out and the whole, and I realized very quickly that, I can make $20 an hour selling these coupon books door to door. And so I immediately, that was the end of it's immediately jumped into the results economy, as Dan Sullivan would call it, and looked back, like that, just knowing that you can go out and get money, that was kind of a thing. And adding value, because the coupons were very valuable. They were all local. And one of them was just a free Whopper. Nothing, didn't have to buy it's included in the thing. So people would reject the idea first, and then I'd sell them, I'd show them on, page 4, there's a free Whopper. And then the rest of the book is free, basically. Right. And so we were able to sell, I was able to sell quite a few of those. And that was my thing. I would go out on Saturday morning and, go door to door for a couple of hours and then go, and it was much more fun to hang out at the bowling alley and play video games than it was to work at the bowling alley. So that was my thing. And then we went through all kinds of services that we would do, driveway sealing, and then we ran a painting company and all these, young entrepreneur things. What reminded me of it is I've seen on my TikTok feed lately, I've been seeing some of these door-to-door sales college kids, go and selling solar and window washing and stuff. And it's reminded me of how for kids to learn how to do door-to-door sales, any kind of sales, just such a equipping them for life, being able to approach strangers and introduce yourself with confidence and communicate and think on your feet and overcome objections and show, really convey a message of value to people is such a valuable life skill. But this entrepreneurship, I'm very excited to see that you're doing that. Is it primarily how do you reach the parents? And are you just doing it local in Austin, or in El Paso, or all over?
So just El Paso. Okay. This past year, I contacted the school districts, and I would send them the PDF and the JPEG flyer, and some of them would use those directly, and then send them to the parents through their emails or through Facebook.
You were sending it to the teachers.
So I'm going to continue with that.
You sent it.
Pardon me?
You sent it to the teachers, you said, or to
the school district. Yeah, communicating with the top management as far as communications department and so forth. Yeah, just making sure that we go through the proper procedures. I'm going to be attending some PTA meetings and right around the city park that we're going to have the event. So we'll have closer interest, hopefully, include that. And then, well, one of my goals with having enough money as far as donations and corporate sponsorships, that we also get a chamber membership. That was very helpful for me as a young man in business, working for another company and eventually into the trade show business. So I want to get the chambers involved. And then again, this is, support the Little League team over here with these young kids that, they want to be in the big leagues perhaps someday.
Right,
Maybe not, but at least get the chamber involved to support. Because I also know there are a lot of young business owners and managers that have kids 6 to 14.
Yeah.
So again, we raised about $4,000 through GoFundMe. We have that program for nonprofits. So again, it was calling, doing the basic work. And if it was $20 or $100, I had a nephew from Houston that sent $500, so we pieced it all together and had the event, and then we'll continue. Now, another thing is that with part of the funding that we had from the last event, we went ahead and signed up with Linda Hollander with her corporate sponsorship program. And then let me tell you this part, Dean. That program Benjamin Hardy and Dan Sullivan had, Who Not How?
I'm a little familiar with the Who Not How.
Yeah, I know. I know you are. Yeah, no. So again, this stuff that I read, I come across, and then it's a great understanding because one of the moms from the first event, she does web design and everything else.
Yes.
So, I had put in with my skills, I did my first website for Youth Biz Academy, but she came in and she just upgraded it. So again, to me, that's part of how are you going to go to the next level? And that's, I needed a web designer, and she volunteered, and we worked well. And now that's how we're getting, I feel, a first-rate corporate sponsorship package. Yeah. So again, it is, where are we investing the money? And so donations, that's wonderful. We'll go after some more, but I think corporate sponsorship will be the main way to go for us. And again, all that's available. So trying to apply everything that you present to social entrepreneurship nonprofit program is, it's tremendous.
How long is the program, and what does it cost for someone to participate? How long, what's the timeline? If we say the during unit, your client, I guess, is the parent of the young entrepreneur. So the parent buys into this idea. Yeah, I want to give my kid this experience. And they say, yeah, let's do it. What's the timeline and what's the experience or the deliverable if we productize what you're doing?
Well, just to give you an idea, right now what we've done is that it's a $29 participation fee.
Okay.
So it's not to apply. They can go apply. They put the kids' names in and their name and what the product is and so forth. And we take a look at it, make sure that it's homemade, it's handmade. At times we had those that wanted to resell other products that they hadn't made, so we didn't qualify them. So it's $29. So what we're doing right now with that, the next event is May 6th. So they're going to get monthly emails, and then we'll have our first Zoom training January 28th. It'll be about an hour and a half, and we'll go over the mindsets and the skills that they've been receiving on the emails, and then go over some of the basics for how to prepare for the fair.
So do they come with their product, or do they come into it and you take them through a process to identify a product and create the...
No, they come in with their product.
So you're looking for kids that are already on the entrepreneurial path, that have got... Okay. And do you have... Yeah,
they have an idea, or they already have their product. So the 10 that we had, they already had their product. They had slime, they had their beaded jewelry. One young lady, excuse me, that was 14, she had already published books on Amazon. So she was there selling her books.
Okay.
So we have different. So the fairs are to build a foundation for Youth Biz Academy for exposure and experience events, and then go in. But for that $29, they're getting a lot of training and experience. And then 2 weeks before the event, we'll meet out at the park. I'll have a canopy and a table and a little setup, go through some of the basics. And of course, the main thing then is to market to their friends and family to go, and hopefully they'll buy they'll buy a product from them. Again, since it's closed in, but the idea is to let the community know, and hopefully we'll have those from outside the immediate family and school and so forth to also attend. And like I said, getting a membership with the chamber, hopefully we can get a program where those business owners can be, they'll know about the event. And if they have 6 to 14-year-olds or whatever age there might be, it'll expose them. And again, it's just the referrals. I mean, I remember when we started with our trade show business, we had 25 booths, 100, and then again, the convention center had to expand because we have the maquiladoras here in Juarez across the border and all the manufacturing, and there's just a lot of industry. It was the roaring 90s, and it was quite an opportunity that we were able to capture. But again, it's exposure, you know, and then having success. And we have pictures on our website of the event and the kids and all the activity that was going on.
So El Paso.
So this is the foundation for us.
El Paso is, am I right? El Paso is a top 10 city. What's the population of El Paso?
Well, with the county, I believe we're at a little over 800,000.
Okay. Yeah, so it's pretty populous. So I look at this as, you know, how many kids are there, do you think, between 6 and 14 in El Paso? And how many, you know, parents in that demographic? It's we have just in El Paso, let's see, I believe we have 4 school districts. Okay.
So, and then outlined, we have some of the ones that participate are in Cañutillo, outside of El Paso in the western part. So yeah, I couldn't give you the exact number, but we have that are in that category.
And so the parents, of course, are the things. How many parents do you have on your list right now, or do you put the kids on the email list?
No, I don't put the kids. I have
parents.
The adult contact. Yeah, with what we've gathered, we're getting close to 100.
Okay.
And that I'm sending out right now. So again, it's a base that, of course, that we didn't have before. So I have that, and also donors and some of the sponsors that we're working with, just so they can see the information and everything that we're providing and creating value.
So I think that so now the question then becomes of the reach. So if I break it down, you know, I always apply the 8 profit activators to everything. So I'll look at we start with the during unit. So the idea is that you've got this experience and the program to help budding entrepreneurs have an experience of what it takes to, you know, package their product and get everything ready and have an opportunity to get the real feedback of selling it at the show. And those are the target audiences, the parents of those kids in El Paso. Okay. Look at, that's who we're trying to reach. Now, Profit Activator 2 would be, how can we compel those parents to raise their hand and say, my kid might be interested in being an entrepreneur on this. So how do we start? Because again, we're not trying to convince them of anything. We're trying to just identify, we're trying to turn invisible prospects into visible prospects, meaning you've got the whole population of El Paso. We don't know necessarily who are the parents of a child who's making entrepreneurial noises, like they're showing some entrepreneurial tendency kind of thing, or that the parents perhaps wish that their kids they want to turn their kids on to this type of thing, you know, because the kids may not be naturally showing that kind of interest, but the millennials would like to give them that opportunity to kind of learn that as an option, that they can be self-supported in life, that they can turn their ideas into a business that serves other people. Because that's a great lesson for kids to learn, that in order for, you know, the whole Zig Ziglar idea of you can get anything in life you want if you help enough other people get what they want, right? That idea of thinking outwardly focused and packaging your product so that it solves a problem or gives somebody joy or something that they desire. So those parents, that's the thing. You got 100 of them right now, but there's probably, you know, 100,000 of them potentially that have kids in that age range. So that would be my initial focus, I think, is trying to, because you can, target, I always look at if it's invisible prospects. Facebook is a perfect place to reach out there. And I think that, if you were to have something like a book or a report or something that would get the eye of parents who are thinking about this, if it was a book about raising young entrepreneurs or about, helping young entrepreneurs or something like that, that would be, if I'm a parent who wants to kind of educate their kids or support your kids, supporting your young entrepreneur, testing different kinds of titles like that that's got to be job one, is to get those parents to raise their hand. That's on their mind, that they're at least kind of in the ballpark of this. Now we can educate them about what's you've got to offer, about how to do that. You're showing and demonstrating with the other kids. They're seeing, you're celebrating, you're making case studies and field reports of these young entrepreneurs that are, turning their things into products and businesses, and then presenting that opportunity for them to participate in the experience. So breaking that down.
Thanks for
those would be the steps, like any business. So what would you think? What's your current method right now for getting in front of those parents? How are you doing it right now? How can somebody start the process? How do you find leads right now for that audience?
Well, like I mentioned, it's going to be, let me tell you this. With our corporate sponsorship, we're also media sponsorships.
Yeah.
Those are new tools that we have. With the high-end graphics, because of the Who joined as one of the moms, we're going to be able to present, like Paso, that is the weekly business newspaper, working with them. Hopefully we can get them as a media sponsor for this May event. We also have Spectrum TV. We're going to approach them. Again, it's different ways aside from the school district. Mm-hmm. And yes, with enough money and so forth, 30 days before or 60 days before the event, I do have Facebook down. As far as ads are concerned, we're just putting together our Facebook page. We have the national one that's connected to the websites and so forth. We have our own, so we can get that information in there. So as far as how do I compel even those that, that asked for information but didn't sign up, or they were turned down for whatever reason, I'm providing basically that monthly mindset. Like the one we're going to send out in a couple of days is going to be creativity. And with that, there's some basic rules about creativity. You're thinking about something, just let the ideas flow. There are no bad ideas. Some of those
ideas.
Be a
good idea, too, to showcase some of the parents and the young entrepreneur by doing something similar to a podcast like this, where...
Oh, yes. Well, I appreciate everything that I've been exposed to over these last couple of years because of COVID and so forth. Yeah. Well, let me give you one other idea. Okay. No idea is bad. That's what I mean. No. Well, what I'm looking to do, and this is my idea, is to have a youth entrepreneur summit online and get the stakeholders, community leaders at an online summit discussing youth entrepreneurship. Now, I'm going to have, a few successful business people that had their childhood or their childhood businesses, those that hopefully get a representative from Venture Lab and on Uncharted Learning. These are companies that go into school districts and provide these services. My idea is to the greater awareness of youth entrepreneurship, because if we go to Region 19, the organization above all the districts, on all their programs, there's no youth entrepreneurship. The only thing that's going on is junior achievement.
Future farmers
and volunteers.
It's so I had a friend...
future farmers. I'm sure we've got that in the valley and so forth. But again, what are we going to help create for our kids as far as other options for them.
Yeah.
Have them become aware. Even if they're going to be a doctor, you got to run an office. You got to market yourself.
So my friend,
whatever the situation, so a greater awareness. So within the next 2 to 3 months, and then before the event, is to put that together. And again, it's for those. I've got the who that's going to help me with a platform to use, Zoom or whatever it might be, for people to buy into youth entrepreneurship and what it can do to give our youth think about options for themselves and think about the future. You got to. With Benjamin Hardy, part of what I learned is about that future self. Your future self is more important than your present self.
Right.
I love all that stuff.
Yeah.
I see my future self, and so I still have those fears and everything else, and starting something new, and I'm going to get the money, and just the whole thing. But because of leaders like yourself, thought leaders like yourself, gives an individual, if they want it, the opportunity to think in a different way in order to, make the rest of your life the best of your life. That's a philosophy I'm following for myself, to enjoy I can't do the Dan Sullivan. I guess I could 25 years. That'd make me 100.
There you
but
go.
What am I going to do within the next 10 years? That's the way I'm looking at it.
Yes.
Dan has that 25. I said, well, look, in the next 10 years, this is what I would like to do. I did a lot of coaching programs. Well, all that has led me to this. This is helping individuals discover their potential. So that's what I want to bring to the community and to the kids and their parents.
Yes. Well, so, it all still comes back to, we got to 10x that list, at least. We got to go from 100 to 1,000, and that's going to start with something that, and if you're getting local support and sponsors, that's, you're looking at, to reach that list, what would it cost to get, list of those people? Let's say you get a $2,500 investment could get 1,000 parents of 6 to 14-year-old kids with an eye on doing that. If you had a book, what would be the title of the book? This is how I always think about those things. What would be the title of the book that the parents of a 6 to 14-year-old that they wanted to set up in the entrepreneurial world be? What would compel them to say, I want that for my child, or I want that. That's what I'm going to do,
Sure.
And so if you get, because the outcome of that is, if we've selected that it's El Paso, you got the 800,000 people, you've got how wide across is El Paso, that area? What would be the radius if we were to say get around there? Are we talking 15-mile radius from the center of El Paso?
We're looking at about 30 miles.
Okay. So in that 30-mile radius, of the center of El Paso, there are some knowable number of parents of kids who are 6 to 14 years old. So that's the first thing, is, looking at that. Then, and it could also be grandparents. I might not even limit it in any way, because it might be a grandparent that would want to have this experience with their grandkid. So I wouldn't necessarily try and target it like that. I think you could do it pretty broad, and it's the kind of thing that would get forwarded or tagged for somebody who's the right person. And you start to look at that with invisible process. I'll tell you one thing that we did. I worked with a summer camp in Canada, and they were about 2.5 hours north of Toronto in cottage country there. And we ran a promotion in the GTA, the Greater Toronto Area, offering a free week of camp. And it was so all these parents were entering this drawing for win a free week at camp. And we built this list of parents who have kids that would be interested in going to camp. And the total cost was the incremental cost, the true cost of one kid going to camp for a week, which was a few $100s, as opposed to the value of it, which is $1,000 or $1,200. So we built a list of thousands of parents on that, and the leads were under $2 for the number of people who registered. And we set it up so that to encourage referrals in most situations like that, like a contest type of thing, it's not in my best interest to refer you, because if you're in there, that's lowering my chance of winning. But to amplify, set up a circumstance where if you you introduce this to other people, if they win, you win. So so now everybody's encouraged to tell their friends, because if I tell 5 friends, now I've got 5 chances to win this week of camp instead of 1. So built that list. Now from that list, then second prize was a gift card for $100 off a week of camp, through the whole thing. And, lots of people took advantage of that and booked. So you've got this of potential candidates there. So separating, I always call it, the compelling from the convincing. We weren't trying to convince parents to send their kid to this particular camp and buy a week there. We're compelling them to win a week of camp for their kid, right? So whether that same thing would follow, like to have some, if you had a, kids entrepreneur camp or day, a kind of event aside from the sales event, like the fair, if you had a thing that somebody could put their kids in a Saturday program to learn like a all day up or a 4-week program or something like that, that's got to be job one, is to identify the parents of kids that are either showing an entrepreneurial aptitude or that the parents would like to introduce that to them. And once you get that list, if you've got 1,000 of them, now you've got an asset that is going to be both valuable to sponsors locally who want to now be seen as supportive in the eyes of those parents, and potentially supportive in that the businesses are going to consume those kind of services, because they're supporting those entrepreneurs. Any business is going to need services and need supplies and need, materials and whatever.
Sure. Well, I first came across an organization in Canada that, it was already, it's been going a few years, and they have their online programs, they have their in-person programs, and of course they also had, that's what I first saw was there was a room, a gym or whatever it was, with the tables and the kids selling and everything else. And again, you know how ideas come up. We have a goal, we want to do something, and then, you're exposed to something that's going to fit right in and take you forward to the next step. So, I'm looking forward to being able to build up that list with all the assistance that you provide in building lists and the marketing. I've enjoyed the ilovemarketing.com for quite a few years.
Yeah, that's awesome. So I'm just thinking out loud about what would be, do you have a book, or do you have something that you offer to parents so far? Do you have
Well, no, I have, like I said, some of the content that I'm getting from some of these youth entrepreneurship organizations from around the country. I purchase and then use some of the free material, their name on it and everything, just giving them credit in case people want to connect with them. But you've given me a great idea. I believe that with everything, the research that I've done and on youth entrepreneurship, that PDF that doesn't have to be a book,
right?
It can
Exactly.
be 10 pages. Is a wonderful idea. I think I've got that down on my list already. It doesn't have to be an 800-page War and Peace. It can be a 10-page PDF.
Exactly. But it's the title that's the most important thing. So I'll give you some title frameworks to help your brainstorm.
Okay.
So we use these at 90-minute books, in terms of helping people pick book titles. But same thing applies to a download title. And so the first one is a name it and claim it title. I use things like that, like financial peace. As it says on the cover what it is that you want. I want that. That's the thing that people say. The 4-hour work week. Oh, I want that. So that's the thing that people are going to be saying when they see that. Oh, I want that. Then the next type of title is what I call a just do it title, like Think and Grow Rich. Think and Grow Rich is yes, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to think and grow rich. Or I'm going to double your dating, like Eben Pagan's double your dating. That's what I'm going to do. Yeah. So I'm going to get that. Then the next is a how-to title. And how-to is such a great thing because you can't say the words how-to without then finishing in some type of transformational outcome for people, right? Yeah. So how to win friends and influence people is a great, one of the best how-to type of books. How-to, you could fill in the blanks to promise some kind of a benefit, right? How to raise entrepreneurial kids is something like that, right? How to tell if your kid is an entrepreneur, a budding entrepreneur, or those kind of things there. Then the next are what I call information gold mines. So it would be like a directory of things. We did the U.S. Hockey Scholarship Directory, or we did 101 great places to have an outdoor wedding in Toronto, or these numbered list type of things where you're compiling information that's going to be valuable to the things, that's a great opportunity. And then the fifth one is, I was just thinking. That's the sort of things where you go in there where, what to expect when you're expecting is a great one of those kind of titles, where you're getting inside the mind of someone. We did a book with a financial advisor called How Much is Enough? And so you're getting inside the questions that people are, might be thinking in their head, and so having that kind of guidance to think and spend some time. You might want to spend an hour. I do 50-minute focus finders. So take 50 minutes, sit with your journal and do a word palette on what would be some of the thoughts and the phrases and the things that would fit in this as we're going to create this title. And you'll get some, of the content and the things for the PDF by thinking that way, uninterrupted, and just kind of putting yourself in the mind of those parents. What would be?
Well, that's excellent. And with something like that, and then as far as sending out the email and for them to open up, what's that subject line going to be, and then to get that PDF.
Yes.
Because I'm working with MailChimp, and of course you can see how many have opened up the email and how many clicked and so forth. So so something like that for them to open up that email and find something like that. Because like I said, we have our monthly email. Oh, part of what we're also sending, aside from the mindset, creativity, information on the current vendors, kidpreneur vendors, also have a couple articles, bonus articles. It's what I'm calling them. It's about, like, one of them that we're sending out tomorrow is from Mark Cuban. Suggestions for youth and concentrating on one product. That's what the article's about. And then another one, reasons to raise an entrepreneur or something like that. I forget exactly.
So
but
there you go.
I've been including 2 articles that I'll come across from my Google, and then I'll send it to Pocket, and then I've got it there, and then I create the link. And so your PDF or your book idea is tremendous because, again, I've got the information, and then, like you've also said, is that aside from the written experience of some of the families and the moms and dads and kids, also go to video. Yeah. I mean, again, all these tools are available for free or like I said, I've got the who now with the website and the video and so forth. Yeah, it's just taking those steps and doing them. So thanks for that idea for PDF. I'm just going to put it that way. I'm going to be a book. Maybe someday.
Maybe someday. That's right. And then the education process. How often are you doing these fairs? How often are the...
Well, we're doing it once a year. I had attempted to do one in November, but things just didn't work out with the school schedules and everything else. So right now it's in spring, but again, this is outside. What we also hope to do is be able to have, there are different city facilities and school buildings and so forth. So again,
look at that, and I think
right now it's an outside experience at a city park.
Yeah. You think if I look at the cadence of what's going on in the school, so you've got the cadence of the school year going through, the kids are advancing. They're now, they're going all the way through elementary and junior high. So you're getting kids all the way up to high school, basically, is what you're doing there. And so you look at a fall and spring fair might be the nice cadence. But you've also got I look for where can you anchor to opportunities that they already have, that they're already looking for things for their kids to do. Like what if you built a program around spring break where they've got the opportunity to, do a week-long program for the parents who are not, going to take the week off and go to the beach or whatever with their kids. A lot of kids, the parents don't do that. So they're looking for something for the kids to do during the breaks. And the same with a summer program for entrepreneurship. I would look to expand, really embrace that as a environment, right? Like what you're really trying to do is to create the most helpful or useful environment for that, with the culmination of it being the fair rather than it being the thing that you're trying to steer people into immediately, right? You want to almost having, that's the big show that they get to be part of twice a year. But rather than just put the focus on filling those things, look at how could you create the ongoing, like an after school program or almost like, you take the analogs of what these could be, like the Boy Scouts or, with the badges, like your entrepreneur badges, or start to think about what are the things that would go hand in hand with this.
Well, let me tell you one event that we did in November. There's a local shopping center, Bassett Center, and second Saturday every month they have vendors. They're in the mall with their tables and everything else. So I invited the kids, signed up that we had at vendors that we're going to go there. And what we're going to do, what we had sent out was one of the mindset was curiosity, asking questions and so forth. So I met them there. We had a few of the kids and their parents there, and we talked about curiosity and asking questions. So went over that. And then, okay, well, your goal is I want you to go out there and ask 3 questions of those vendors, whatever it might be. Is it
I'd almost
did you make that, or how long, and so forth. And then, so they went and, they were out there about 30 minutes and came back. And then we talked about curiosity again. And then I asked, they had a space there to write their questions. So they had their questions there. And I asked them this, I asked her that, and things like that. So again, it was the opportunity to have an experience there dealing with one of our mindsets, and it was curiosity and about asking questions. So it was interesting to see which kids were vocal and those are the shy and so forth, but all of them answered. And again, it was an opportunity to get together and think about kidpreneurship and one of the mindsets and what does that mean? Asking questions. So that was our first event like that. And so that can be going on every other month, or again, Hobby Lobby, they have an outdoor vending, also possibilities like Bassett Center, they charge $60 for the 2-day event. Well, Youth Biz Academy, if you kids are interested, you come up with 20, Youth Biz will be 20, and they have a table, a $60 table for $20, and you can sell your products there. I mean, there are a lot of possibilities as far as
That's awesome.
how they can sell their product with the help of Youth Biz Academy.
I love it. Well, you're doing good work. So, I'm excited that we got to spend this time. I think that's...
Well, listen, I appreciate you very much. And yeah, thanks so much. More cheese.
Yeah. Where can people find out about, where can people go if they want to see what you're up to? What's the best website?
Yeah, Youth Biz Academy, YOUTH, and then BIZ, and then Academy, ACADEMY.org.
Perfect.
And we've got everything on the organization and also on the fair, and we also have some other tabs on pictures from the event last June and some other things we're doing. So
I love it.
YouthBizAcademy.org.
Awesome. Well, it's been a treat. It's been very great to get to meet
you. Thank you, Dean. I appreciate you very much.
Okay. Thanks. Have a great day.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.